Lightly Taken. I talk all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And this is my witchy review. I'm a little late than usual, and I feel a little out of place, but I've been feeling out of place since the summer started, so it doesn't seem to matter. I don't know if anybody's here yet. Um, let's see. Not yet. Okay, so we got a lot of new stuff on here. Anywho, yeah, so I have a couple things that I wanted to go over. I am pulling up another screen in case there's comments because I don't think I'm going to be able to follow on my own. But anyway, I hope everyone's enjoying their Friday and going to have a magical time. All right, so yeah, I got myself pulled up here. Here we go. Boom. All right, let me get to where I'm facing. Okay, so let's get into a couple different things that I did get in the mail. Where's some comments ringing? I'm getting interrupted. Anyway, the story of my life right now, just the unexpected. But anyway, I want to talk about a couple different things. So, first thing, I'm still keeping up with this subscription for this Grimoire Society. I think it's called Witch Way or Witchy Way magazine. I am a fan of this. So far it has been really a pleasure getting these, and I can't wait to organize them. But they're just really fun. It feels like Happy Mail, Happy Witchy Mail. I like it. Anyway, so it's only $5, and it's really interesting. Some of the stories, and you always get like a horoscope in the back. So I like this. I picked up a book. It's, from my understanding, it's not a witchy book, but it's a mystery. So I picked this up. Well, I got it off of Amazon. I realized I have no links because I kind of just jumped on this live, but I'll try my best to remember to go back and put a link in here for this book. But basically, a fast-paced, completely delightful new mystery about what happens when parents get a little too involved in their kids' schools, from NAACP Image Award nominee Elise Bryant. So I'm very curious. So the reason I chose this book to read is because I wanted to mix things up. I wanted something different. Reading wise, I've kind of been in I don't know, I've just been blah. I've talked about this. I don't want to keep breathing energy into that particular feeling that I'm going through right now, so I don't want to keep talking about it. If I look wet, my hair is actually wet. I washed, conditioned, dried it. It's wet currently. It's wet on. I'm letting it air dry, but boy is it wet. It's starting to take so long for my hair to actually dry now. So if you see like it's like little fuzz or something like that, that's all me. This is because I wash my hair. I'll just wash, condition, detangle. I said detangle, oil my scalp massage, and that's where I'm at now. So it's wet, but I wanted, excuse me, to go live. The other thing I had talked about reading a book that I read before. Now I did pick a book. I'm trying to get to it, but I didn't. I don't know if I ever talked about this book in detail. I know I highlighted it, but based on when I would have read it, I really don't think I actually ever really went into it, which is weird because, I call myself a cottage witch. So, The House Witch. This is a nonfiction book. This is by Erin Murphy Hiscock. She's also written Green Witch. I am currently rereading this. First of all, the cover is just magical, but I'm rereading this with a different perspective than when I first read this. When I first read this, it was on audiobook. So it is a different experience now that I'm actually reading it on my Kindle. So, well, through Kindle Fire, this is an iPad, but you get it. So yeah, I'm digging the book. Again, I like the book. I like what I'm reading. Also, I'm having a lot of aha moments. I should be ready to talk about this in another week. Another thing that I am giving myself more grace than I ever gave myself grace on is the fact that I am not reading as fast as I used to. It's not an inability or I can't like read the words. It's more like the distractions and things like that. So um, I am working on that by giving myself grace and not beating myself up about it, that I'm not keeping to a reading schedule that I've been previously able to keep to. So I also feel like I've reached a point of blah on what I'm reading. So I'm sort of challenging myself to step out more about that because I want to get into that as well. Matter of fact, I'm going to jump into that now. So, reading and different types of media. I watched a show on Apple. Apple produces it. It's called Dark Matter. I don't know if anyone else has watched this show. I'm trying to pull it up. So I should have had that pulled up on Apple TV so I can tell you who's in it and what's, so it makes more sense in a minute. So Joel Edgerton, he plays the character of Jason Dessen. His wife, who is played by Jennifer Connelly, is Daniela, and their son, who is his name is Oaks Fegley, but his character is Charlie Dessen. So we have Jason, Daniela, and our son Charlie. Charlie was a twin, and unfortunately, his twin died at some point when he was a little boy. So the show, it's a series on Apple TV, 9 episodes. It's there, you can binge it. The reason I'm talking about this because it has had that series have had I've been thinking about it a lot, and I've taken my time and gone through each episode. And it starts by Jason. Actually, I'll just read here. Jason Dessen. He's a husband. He's a college physics teacher. Not at the most prestigious of school. His life feels like it's giving that quiet desperation. For like a married man type vibe. He is. He loves his wife. He loves his wife. He loves his kids. He loves his life. But there's part of him that always wondered about something more. So he gets abducted, from celebrating a friend who received a prestigious like science type award. So that night on the way home, he's asked to strip down, take his clothes off, put on a different set of clothes, give up his phone and his wedding ring. He is then drugged and placed into some room, he thinks, and when he finally comes to, he's coming out of this room, made cement dark room, opens the door, and he is in a world that looks like his, with people who look like the people he know, but they're not. So he basically discovers that he's in an alternate reality or another version of his life based on his choices. So there's drama and there's a lot of action and things like that in here, and it gets really it does kind of get dark and it kind of boggles the mind. So there's other characters involved as well, other people who are a part of the story and who are experiencing this as well. But the thing I wanted to talk about is when we talk about witchcraft, I mean, I could talk about law of attraction, but I want to specifically talk about witches and casting spells and doing magic, and how I truly believe, or I'll speak for myself, I'm creating realities, and each spell, each ritual is creating sort of like a branch off of wherever the timeline was going. If you believe in a multiverse, so there's another version of me who made different decisions. Maybe that version of me never left New Jersey. She never moved, and then she's existing in that timeline. Her kids grew up, up north, and then another version who maybe did move, but they made some other decisions. And basically, your thoughts and decisions influence maybe where your life is splintered off to. Now, how I bring that back to my current reality is that I can always change my reality. Now, the thing about it is, and they basically were traveling through these different iterations of where life could have went for this character. And each time it wasn't always a habitable place, because it's, if it can, there's more nuance to it, but basically, once you take this sort of psycho type, active type drug, it makes it so that your brain is palatable to this notion of a multiverse. So you end up in a corridor, a very long corridor that never ends, with these doors on each side. And depending on what you're thinking and feeling, because your feelings matter, I always talk about that with Spellwork, that will decide the world on the other side of that door. So if you're overwhelmed, your world will reflect that. If you're scared, your world will reflect that. If you are hopeful, and to some degree, your world can affect that. However, your subconscious is also important in this world creation, or accessing these different worlds. And each world has a you in it, or potentially the you that died. So you're just seeing that. But yeah, it does matter how you're feeling, and you can't fake it. You can't lie in this space, this quarter of your mind. You can't lie or hide your feelings on how you really feel. So you really do have to come to terms with what you think you really want. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity for me, an exercise this summer, to really do that. Now, another thing that they featured in the movie or the series, is that it became evident, because the character doesn't know that he has someone he's initially trying to get back to his home, his world, his home, the wife he knows, because he's seen different iterations of this particular wife, and himself and all that. But anyway, so the thing that's kind of stands out to me was, at one point it became obvious, maybe I need to speak it out loud. So he tried that, because he kept ending up in worlds that were not the one that he knew. And then it finally got to him to write things down. They found a journal, or I don't want to give too much away if you want to watch it, but he had access to a journal. So he gets this journal, and it gives him an idea to start writing things down. So he first starts writing it down, scripting, essentially. And he's close, but not close enough. He's getting close to his world, a version of his world, but not the actual world that he wants to go back to. So he finally gets it right, and he had to go deeper. And he was very descriptive, extremely descriptive, and he wrote how he felt. And I know scripting actually works. I know, because I've done it myself. I know putting pen to paper, and there was someone even says in that moment when they're doing that, him and the other person he's traveling with initially, is that it is hard to concentrate on something else when you're writing. When you're writing something, it's really hard to have your other thoughts come up other than what you're focused on. So if you're having trouble within the spells that you cast, and you're finding it's not really coming out, the magic that you're trying to live isn't really what you would, or it doesn't seem to be manifesting in a way that you would desire, maybe try scripting. So I still cast spells, but I also enjoy scripting. Now that's going to be a fun thing for me to do, because this movie was a reminder that each decision that you're making kind of produces a new you, because you react to it. There's the core essence of you, but your personality, all of that is going to develop over time because of the experiences, or even lack thereof of experiences that are coming across in your life. So it will influence your personality. Outside stimuli essentially will have you react. If life has been kind of harder to you, you might be come across as more resilient person, but you're more sensitive. If you've kind of had a life that was a little bit more easy, not a lot of drama, you might come across as a very easygoing person. someone easily to talk to, even though you personally haven't experienced things, but it might have given you an opportunity to develop your empathy. Or conversely, you could become extremely entitled and selfish as well because you just can't put yourself in someone else's shoes because you've just not had experiences. I mean, there's a host of things that can alter our personality, even if we seem to have been one way up until a certain point. For me, becoming more of me, which has been becoming a witch, leaving the concept of mainstream, work and things like that, how people would, typically get their money. Doing that and just stepping out on my own has produced a different iteration of myself. One that has to be more resilient, more confident, more bold, one than I had to be previously. Each leap that I've taken, I feel like it's produced a different version of myself. And this movie has reminded me of that's possible. Um, that I'm not, it's okay, and it's okay. You should not consistently be, I mean, there's the core of you, yes, but even to some degree that alters over time. Now, my values, we're talking personality, beliefs, and values, and things like that. Now, my values, they are consistent, which is why the people in my life, they continue to talk to me. They know me, they're good with me, because that's not switching up. My values haven't switched up. My values are that, I typically have no harm or ill will toward anyone, but I will protect myself. That's my number one value. I'm always going to protect me and mine specifically. So that doesn't change with each leap that I've taken. But the other parts of me has been going through changes. So um, I it's yeah this sci-fi thriller drama was a nice reminder and to remember to continue to create the world that I want to live in. One thing that I've always said on this train of thought is that I don't want to live a life that I feel like I always have to escape, that I want to escape or vacation from. I want to live a life where it's nice when I get to travel and do other things, but my life feels almost like a vacation. It feels, I have plenty of time for self-care, relaxation, good food, good drink, company, good company, and all those other things that you think about when you think of vacation, even exploring different, kind of a different perspective and outlook, a physical outlook, like a different landscape. So I live that life because I live in a place I didn't grow up in, and I'm still discovering Arizona, and there's still more to discover. So I've created that reality for me. I have made it possible for myself to um, not feel like I always need to run or escape. I don't have that thing. And I know a lot of people do. It's like, oh, I need to just get on a plane and go somewhere. I need to do this. I know people are like that. And again, it's not that I have a reluctance to go any place or something like that, low key, because I've created such a safe haven for myself. I don't necessarily have this desire to consistently escape from it. I don't consider myself lucky about that. I do consider myself lucky, yes, but I don't think for this is a luck thing. I think this is an intentional way that I'm living my life of being just hopeful. Years ago, and when I think about this movie, I think about this. Years ago, I remember being a young mom, like in my 20s young, and I was still living in New Jersey. They were building some new homes, townhomes. I don't even remember what it was. And I wanted to go see it. And I couldn't get anybody to go see it with me because I used to enjoy going to like open houses or just looking at like new construction, like if they had the model homes. I didn't care if I could afford it. I wanted to go see it because I liked it and I wanted to see what it had to offer. And at the time, I couldn't get anybody to go with me. Nobody wanted to go. And I remember thinking to myself, someone even said to me, well, I don't want to go because if I'm not going to buy it, I don't want to make myself I don't want to be, they didn't want something that they couldn't have. They didn't want to feel that. And I definitely can understand that. I actually deeply understand that because years later, I would start doing that. But anyway, in that moment, I thought to myself, well, who said you can't have it? In my mind, there was always room for possibilities, for something to happen. And it was very innocent thought. It wasn't something where I quantified it, or I measured it to see if that was true or anything like that. It was just really my thought, my just how I felt about it. Because I think like that and I thought like that, the adventure of my life that I've been on, because um, a handful of years later, I would be living in a different place. I would be taking my kids to the beach, not because it was a summer thing or something we just do only in the summertime. No, we could go almost year round, and adopting a lifestyle and connecting with this feminine divine energy that was manifested through the ocean, in a way that surprised me, that called to me, and how I deepened my practice, deepened everything about myself because of this. And just having that open mind, or it wasn't even open. I don't want to, because it sounds, that was less intentional. That was just me. That was just the core me. So I thought about that as I'm watching the show. So if I had allowed people to dictate that feeling of not kind of looking, because I was the type of person, I would drive through more affluent areas, and in affluent areas, people always have their window, the curtains pulled. You can always look directly in their house. I don't know if anybody knows that, but that's a thing. And I like to look. I like to look. I want to see what's in your house. I want to see if I can get a glimpse at what your life is like just by that quick drive through, slow drive, and you peek over and look. I enjoy doing that. Was something I enjoyed doing. And that version of me who was open to just seeing another world that wasn't my own, um, made it possible for me to learn how to create this world that I'm in, my world, my perspective, my vision. Um, and I look forward to, now that I've sort of been reinvigorated with this, because of this series, I look forward to doing some more intentional scripting and creating a new version, a new reality. Um, I recently did, back in, what was it, February, we celebrated leap year in February. Yeah, duh, February, February 29th. This was a leap year, by the way. So I did a spell, and then I did have some help with the energies with my coven, but I did a spell. And the intention of the spell was to quantum leap into the reality of my choosing. And in that reality, I was embodying, my intention was to embody more Empress energy, to connect with that. And when I think of the Empress, I think of nurture, but I also think of a very well watered, well fed, well loved version, as well. So she gives and receives. But she, lavish, abundance, all of that. Those descriptors come to mind, and being receptive. So since then, I have leaped into that experience, and that has been most of my life. Now, there are other aspects and other things that are currently happening in my life. I don't want to make it seem like, nothing else is going on, but like I'm not experiencing things, because I am. But my spell worked. I'm still experiencing that. I wrestled. I wanted to do a video, and I kind of wanted to kind of mark each of the different things that are occurring in my life, to kind of, share that. And maybe down the road, I'll share it more. But right now, I have the desire to still protect that. One thing I'll talk about. So I got a new car, right? I got a new car last week, and I'm super excited about it because this is a car that I wanted. I guess if you would say dream car, that was it. I'm not somebody who really dreams about cars and things like that. Like, I'm not somebody who, I know some people, there's a specific car they really want, they love that sort of stuff. It's not really that's just not my personality. But if I see something and, oh, my hair is wet. Anyway, if I see something and it connects with me, I love that vehicle, right? So I'll think about it. And if I see it on the road, I'll think about it. So there was a particular vehicle, it is an SUV, and that I wanted. And the interior had this brown leather, and I called it peanut butter leather interior because it reminded me so much of peanut butter, like that shade of brown. But it looked luxurious. It looked nice, a luxury vehicle. In this car, and this particular car would be considered a luxury SUV. So I had been inside one. This was back in, I'm pretty sure it was 2018, maybe 2017, or like going into 18. I had been in a car dealership. I had been behind the wheel of this vehicle. I wanted this vehicle. It was not doable at the time. It wasn't, the deal wasn't going to go through. It was crazy expensive at the time. My then husband were trying to work it out. It never came into fruition. I ended up getting something different. 2 cars later, so I got something else at that time. I got a totally different vehicle. I got a Jeep Cherokee, completely off, but I learned to enjoy that car. When I moved here, I actually drove from Florida to Arizona in a Jeep Cherokee, not the Grand, just the other kind. It was not bad. It was a nice car. I had all the little, like the heated seats, the heated steering wheel, and a couple other cool perks, but it wasn't what I really wanted. Deep down, I'll be honest with you, but it was new to me, so it was exciting. So when you get something new, you're still happy to have it, right? And I was. So unfortunately, that car didn't work out, and I'll just leave that there. There was a problem, incident, and so I ended up getting that car. We got rid of that car, and then I ended up getting another car that is similar to the luxury car that I had secretly been coveting all this time. I'm seeing it on the road, and I was kind of pushed. Then husband kept saying, well, you said you wanted this car. You should just get that one. And I was like, yeah, I did say it, but that was before. I wanted something else. Long story short, it's like, and then I'm like, I did say I wanted it. I basically let someone talk me into it because at one point I did want that car, but I had changed my mind. I wanted the peanut butter leather interior luxury SUV. This was like the not better version. This was a similar, but not quite the same. Long story short, I drove that car since I've been here in Arizona, pretty much. And I didn't hate my vehicle. It was involved in it. I was prepared to ride it out. And I started getting accessories for it. I was thinking about getting it wrapped actually in like pink or something like that. Just a fun color, could just go all out and have fun and just make it more, lemons into lemonade type situation. Or just make it more of me. And it was a pretty basic vehicle. So it was I wasn't in an accident. My car was in an accident with other people. I was out of town. And long story short, the car has never been right since that. It was hit in the front. And my brakes leaking oil. Like, it's just been a host of events. So I got rid of the car. I traded the car in, and I got what I really wanted. And the magic that surrounds that entire transaction, because I am not your typical income-wise situation. So I was able to work that magic, I'll just say that, and get a car that I love. I call her Cookie. I named my car. I could not name those other cars because I realized I never really gave a name to my other vehicles. People name cars, that's a thing. I never named my car because, quite frankly, I realized I never felt a strong connection to the car where I feel like it's inhabited its own spirit or something like that. Because I really didn't want those cars. So this she's cookies because she's short for cookies and cream. So instead of the peanut butter leather interior, I have a cookies and cream interior. She is leather interior. And she grown up. She's nice. She's newer. And I've got all the things that I wanted in this car. I've got a sunroof. I got two sunroofs in my car. I just got an extra tint on it yesterday, so she's all blacked out. Oh, look like an Oreo cookie. She's all blacked out. She looks really nice. Um, and I'm very happy. I enjoy driving. Oh, I love blasting my music. I look forward to once the weather cools down a little bit more and kind of taking her up to like South Mountain or something like that, and pulling back the the sunroof and just like looking up. So I'm looking forward to doing that and having that experience. But she is a beaut. She's a beautiful vehicle, and I feel safer, by the way, driving this vehicle. The other one had some issues, like I would drive, it would kind of start shaking all after the accident. So anyway, um, that quantum leap spell that I did, definitely put me to here because this is what I really wanted. Now, my spell wasn't about a car, but it was about being receptive and again, tapping into this Empress energy. And there's a little bit more to that, but I'm kind of just giving you this one aspect. And I allow the universe to provide through different resources and people and things of that nature. And my spells are working. Watching that series was just a good reminder for me about that. So yeah, it's kind of reinvigorated me a little bit as well. But let me read this. Oh, Insky, you said that's such a refreshing perspective. It makes me think of how I look into yards around the neighborhood and think about how they're like a little portals to someone else's world. Yes. Also, I haven't heard of scripting, so I guess I have something to learn about later. Yes, scripting. So for me, I'm a notebook person, a planner person. I like all those paper crafts, so I'm gonna go get a fresh notebook every time. Um, and you sort of use it almost like a diary. I liked scripting at night before I went to bed. So the timing can be important for you as well. For some people, it's all day. You just write throughout the day. For some people, it's in the morning. I'd like to get more into the morning. I think for this new project that I'm going to work on, because this series has sparked something for me. But anyway, I think I might going to try in the morning. But yeah, so what I did when I moved here, the very home I'm sitting in, I scripted the details about this place. So I would write. We were staying in like temporary housing in Scottsdale, Arizona. I discovered I did not want to live in Scottsdale because of this. Thank you for that experience. I don't like those people over there. Too pretentious. Yeah, I don't like it. I'll just say that. But anyway, I would take out this notebook and I would just write from a state of I am. So I wrote things like I am waking up, and I'm like visualizing as I'm writing because I do that when I write. It's like a movie in my head. So as I'm writing this handwriting, I wake up. I think I remember writing something like, I wake up in my bedroom. It's a beautiful sunny day. My big window in my bedroom lets the sunlight in. And I wake up, I walk into my office slash craft room slash witchy room. I remember writing that, by the way. I'm sitting in that room right now. And I talked about how I would walk in this room and I would sit down at my computer and I would write. And I talked about being a writer. I talked about being a spiritual consultant. And I've been doing those things. I've been living this life. I didn't start off having this entire room to myself initially. I do now. And because of that, this room features crafts. I got crafts. I have my witchy stuff. And then the business, I work outside of this room as well. I even talked about I am enjoying my morning cup of coffee, knowing I don't have to rush, knowing I can take my time. I do live that life now. And just creating this reality, but from a place of present tense, as if it's a diary and entry that I'm writing about my life. So I'm writing it into existence. One of the things I'm usually asked about that is, well, how long does that take? If I start writing these I am statements, I am so happy. And you have to really write about your emotions. That's why this series connected so much for me, because I already do that. But write from your emotional state. Don't try to do a logical, rational thing, because that's just like the corridor that your mind will sort of take you to reach the multiverse in the series, and you can open up any door. It would always know, and it would go to what your true subconscious, what you truly felt, not just thought, but felt. So I know that is one of the biggest secrets when it comes to witchcraft. You can pull up books and read spells or take a spell out of a book. You can, someone can tell you, I can tell you what to do. If you don't feel something, if you're not connecting with your emotions, we have these emotions for a reason, y'all. It's not to constantly be told to ignore them, because that fits, the world that we live in, expectations, to just constantly smother that. So we're not all meant to just be silent and not feel things and not express how we feel. So getting in tune with that, but then taking a step further by writing that down and just writing. And it's okay if you don't have a lot of descriptors. Not everybody is well read, or they know how to write very well. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be romantic. You know what I mean? As you write it out, but you're writing how you feel. If your descriptors are, I feel really good, I feel really happy, I am so grateful. If that's your language, you can go with that. If you know more, but here's the thing, you can build on it. If you want to write, if you're looking for certain words to really drive this home, to create this existence, this new world for yourself, use a thesaurus. Go online and start finding words that are better for good. That also is going to help you as well, because especially if you're talking about expansion, if you're talking about building on what you already have, if that is what you're scripting about. I script about all kinds of things. The relationship I was in, on trying to script for it to be more. Now, caveat, when you're putting other people in the story, in your life, in your scripting, kind of like in this series, it wasn't just this guy, Jason, who had, been forced into this other world, of this other version of himself. He eventually had a partner with him traveling through the multiverse and trying to help him as well get back to his home. The thing about it is, other people will influence the world, and that's what the series showed. Other people can influence what's on the other side of that door, or what other world that you can live in, because their emotions and their thoughts, their decisions are now part of yours. So if you're rocking through the world with a partner, whether it's, romantic or otherwise, or somebody really close to you, and you guys are making decisions about how you live your life together, you have to be very careful about what they think. So this was a reminder to myself as well, because I experienced that. I wrote about, when I scripted, I wrote this life where this person was there too. And you can't control other people's destiny, other people's path, because we're constantly making decisions. And remember, I don't know if you caught it, I was saying before, it kind of alters you, each decision you make, because of consequence. Yeah, that's the easiest way to say, and whether it's, it's not about a good or bad thing. You're just constantly having to evolve and change based on different interactions and experiences, including the ones that you're initiating. So if you're doing that, what do you think is happening with the person that's next to you? So you can't make them live in the scripted world that you wrote. They can show up, but there's probably almost always going to be some variation that you did not account for because they have their own script, their own story. The series kind of pointed that out. So one of the problems that he discovered is he's trying to get back to his home world, but with someone else influencing him, he couldn't do it. So finally, he was able to get there, but he did that on his own because that is a inside job. It's not someone else can't do that for you. Create this world. Now, some of us will have access to people who have a shared vision. Some of us are very fortunate to have people, romantic or otherwise, in our lives, that people that you're building with who truly do want very similar things to what you want as far as how you live your life. Um, that's a good thing. That does feel very lucky. Or maybe it was very intentional on you finding someone like that in your life. But in order for things to work, to witches, specifically a lot of women who practice magic, and your partner does not, and maybe they're even not really a fan of you doing it, but they love you anyway. So, it's just a respectful, agree to you keep that here and I'm gonna be over here type situation. I'm gonna tell you right now, I think that you're constantly going to be capped off as someone who lived it. There's gonna be a cap, a ceiling that you'll never really, you're gonna be bumping up against, especially when you talk about your life, like magic for your life. Now, some things probably you won't notice, like money, things like that. Yeah, they want money too. They're right there with you. But other aspects of your life, it's going to be difficult to manifest that, to do spells for that, where it kind of goes how you wanted it to go, because you always have somebody else's will, someone else's emotions involved. So it's not just going to be you. It doesn't mean be alone. I'm just saying, choose wisely, especially when you're talking about building a life, because you need to share a vision. Other religions sort of talk about this, but remember how I was saying we're always evolving, we're always changing. So what was true when you first got together, then if you choose to have kids or not, that's altering each of you individually and then together in your interactions. So the vision can change as well. So the reality around you starts to change. Whatever, it's not a good or bad thing. That's not what this is about. But to me, this series reminded me to be honest with myself on what I'm really feeling, what I'm really feeling about everything. Am I miserable? Am I happy? Am I content? Am I content? And then the nuance, that to add more nuance to that, am I content in a way that is boring and I want more adventure? Am I content in a way that I don't want this to change? Am I holding on too tight? Like all those sort of things. It makes me think about that. And then if I'm thinking multiverse, does this version of me who asked this question, does she answer it? Yeah, I'm not content. I'm not happy. And does she go off on a different path? And she's living this life. Anyway, this series really just had my mind opening up to that. Check the vibes before they check you. Some might say, okay, but I can definitely understand the layers when it comes to current versus intended emotions, including current versus intended other people. Yes, there's so much to take into account. Sometimes, like, if you watch movies and they feature witches and things like that, and especially if it's like, set in more of like an ancient fairy tale world, the witch always has to gather things. She's telling you certain events have to happen first. If you notice in a lot of witch lore, like I was binging Vampire Diaries, so when the witches would have to do something, it was usually marked by an astrological event at a particular date, a certain year. Like there were so many other components besides, I just want to do this spell, so I'm going to do it. Um, so the energy's involved. So it's not even about people. It's like then there's the energy of where you are to take into account, and the energy around you, and just the collective energy. So yeah, I'm just thinking about that too. So it's been very, philosophical and esoteric over here in my mind after watching this series, because it's truly just had me thinking. And I love that. If you are someone who wants to kind of see that play out, of course, it's a movie or series. It is fiction, so there's the drama aspects. So you're seeing the relationships aspects of this person, just from a character development where his life has been turned upside down. He's been forced into this other version of himself's world. They think they know him, but they don't, because that's not really him. But in essence, it technically is him. So that's kind of crazy, and for you to wrap your mind around. And he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know why he was targeted. He doesn't understand anything at first. So dealing with his plight and his frustration of kind of navigating, and then getting out of that world, then having to come to the terms with this idea of this alternate reality, and how it can go on in a way where it's hard for the brain to comprehend, and that also can make you crazy. He didn't have any sort of training. Come to find out, this is something that version of himself invented, but in his world, that was something he was working on, but sort of put to the side to be a husband and to be a father. This other, we're going to call it, version two of him in this other world, decided he wanted that. He wanted a do-over. He made a decision to not get married to that wife, to not have a child. And he got rich, and he got this, he built this tech that is just no one else has been able to do. And he's done all these things, but he was never truly happy. And he thought he could find this world with the right conditions and just take this man's life, this other version of himself, version one, and just, step into the life that he had. And he thought it would make him happy, but it didn't, because that's not how that works. That's like me now finding a way to find the version of myself that said, I am kind of bored with my life. I do want something else. And if I was to somehow jump some sort of timeline into a new universe where this version of me is doing something completely different in answer to that question, right? And I decide she's doing it big, I want to be her, and I push her into this life, right? And with the excuse of, I thought you would be happy. Well, no, that version was content. I mean, this version is content. That one wasn't. We can't just switch and just be okay. Like, that's not going to be okay. It's going to be terrifying. Also, there's always something different about the world. The currency is different. And it just really has me I've just been thinking about just this idea of each decision creating a reality, a different string of reality for myself. And again, getting into that quantum leap spell that I did, I feel like I've already tapped into that. And I've been toying with the idea of the notebook becoming the compass of my life. So scripting in a way where I think about like a compass, or like a compass theme notebook, where whatever direction I choose to take my life in, it doesn't have to be set. And that's another thing about scripting, even about this series. So he gets back to his home world. I don't want to give too much away. Eventually he gets back, and you're thinking, oh great, but it's a mess because there's more to it. But he ends up, grappling with the decision that he might not be able to stay in his home world with his family. They may have to leave, which makes me think about the idea of scripting. You can script, I've scripted this a certain life, but I'm not done. I'm still living. And now that version of me has been living out the scripted story that I put for myself, I basically opened this door to this reality and I'm living in it. Well, maybe I want to open a new door. Maybe I want some of what I have here, so I want another variation of this life, but with some other things, or maybe taking some other things away, right? Um, so there's another door of reality. The long corridor in the door is explained in that series, by the way, of the different doors you can open to a different world, depending on how you feel, the decisions you've made. So there's a lot of stuff involved into what you'll see if you open one of these doors. Um, but I feel like that's the case even now. The decisions I'm making and how I feel and how I'm choosing to exhibit my feelings consists on a regular basis, especially, um, can influence the world that I'm inviting in, the people around me, my environment, and everything. We are not fixed. We don't have to stay rooted in one place. For me, coming to terms with that has made my world, this world that I live in, fun. It has made it exciting. It has made moments of content, extreme content of just like, I remember there are times I have experienced things, whether it's through interacting with people, where I knew I felt it somehow that that other version of me, when I say other version, like younger me, because I wasn't the same person that I wasn't, the moment I was having these thoughts. And I would think, oh my God, she would die if she got to see this, if she got to live this life and being in certain places that I didn't even imagine I would be in, talking to people I didn't know I would be talking to and interacting with. I don't, like she just had the hope. She just had the open mind, and look what happened. And youth was on my side, so I can think like that. But as I've gotten older, the universe shows me things to kind of keep me in touch with that essence of myself, the core essence, who is a girl who loves love, who dreams, who needs a little whimsy in her life, who needs to practice magic, who can't be around people who are not open, who are not open to the concept of magic and witchcraft and fairies and spirituality, um, uh, who likes to think deeply, but at the same time can cut up and be silly. And I need a space to express that. I need an environment that is conducive to more of that. Um, so I created one, and I've been creating one. So that series just had me just really rethinking things that I know and kind of putting a different spin on it. And I'm glad I watched it. So it's called Dark Matter. It's on Apple TV. Um, I don't know if you need a subscription. I have Apple TV. I have an Apple TV, and yeah. But I think I don't know how that works with that. If you don't have Apple device, I don't know, but I know some people watch stuff on Apple TV. So somehow, some way, get into it. Especially if you are someone who is pagan, or you study and you practice concepts and ideology that is of the law of attraction, and you're intentional about it. Yeah, you're going to want to watch that show. It's really interesting. So I want to talk about my Ink Goddess Creation box. In the witching hour, the theme is witching hour. In the witching hour, beneath the moon's glow, witches weave spells where shadows flow. Whispers of magic in between time and space. The witching hour, a witch's sacred place. July's Ink Goddess Creations box contains items to help witches practice nighttime magic. Ooh, so nighttime magic. Let's get into this very liminal thing. And yeah, that was, they were saying the whole, back to this show, they were calling that like a liminal space. I am enchanted with this show. I binged it and enjoyed it and soaked everything up. It is great if you are wanting maybe to kind of just see what we talk about in theory played out on a show. Anyway, so let's talk about what we got in this box. So the first thing is a moon water glass bottle. And this is cute, right? It's cute. I like it. I like this a lot. So the top comes off. So we have a moon water glass bottle. This gorgeous glass decanter can be used to create and store your moon water. Simply fill the bottle with purified water, set aside or on a windowsill during the full moon to charge it. Love that. I will be using this for that purpose too. I have something, but I'm gonna have, you can always have more, right? Um, the next thing is the Witching Hour Balm. So this is a balm. If I can get it. Oh, that smells nice. Like you can smell, look, I don't smell it. But it does smell nice. So let's talk about what this is. So the Witching Hour Balm, a blend of chamomile, lotus, jasmine, and more to help you deeply relax and open your psychic center to help with dream magic, astral travel, and connect with nighttime energies. Is giving flying ointment, and I've made some for myself, so this is great because I would like to use this as well. The next item is the Moon Magic Altar Cloth. Ooh, that's this. All right, Moon Magic Altar Cloth. Oh, check this. Isn't this cute? I think it's cute. Right? Lovely. All right, so what are we saying about this? We designed this cloth to add some night energy to your altar or sacred space. The four corners of the design can be used for elemental representation of earth, air, fire, and water. And you can place items to be charged in the middle. So yeah, that makes sense. See that? Yeah. And I will be using this. Thank you. I needed that. Onyx and Quartz Pentacle Moon Bracelet. Ooh. That's this. So let's open this up. Oh, this is pretty. Y'all see this? All right, this is really pretty. Oh, I love this. Oh, this is really nice. Oh, this is an interesting way too. So you place the hair. Oh, it's not a clasp. Let me see if I can get this. Can I? Maybe I can. Like, how does this go? So you place, I'm trying to, how do you do this? Am I not understanding? All right, I'll have to figure out. I just thought you would put this here. Oh, no, I was right. Yeah, okay. I don't know why I'm struggling. Hi, Gemstones. But isn't this nice? And it has the little moon charm on here. This is really nice. Oh, I love this. Oh, I really do. Ooh. So let's talk about what this is. Onyx and Quartz Pentacle Moon Bracelet representing the dark or new moon, onyx, and the full moon, quartz. This bracelet can help with balance, protection, amplifying your energy. Well, that's nice. Dig that a lot. Next one, Witching Hour Tea. I love a good tea blend. All right, so what's in here? We have a blend of chamomile, mint, lavender, and butterfly pea flower to help calm and relax you for sleep. This tea magically brews a dark blue color to further connect you to the night. Oh, I love that. Oh, I can't wait to use that tonight. Tonight feels magical for some reason. We'll get into that. I don't know what that is, but probably because I feel like I'm ready to do some magic tonight. Celestial Witch Votive Candle. Ooh, so it's this blue. Ooh, it's got a nice smell to it. A blend of lavender, orange, and rosemary to help you practice moon magic and astrological magic. I'll take it. I'll take it. And then we have a moon phase selenite wand. Look at this. Ooh, let's see if we can open this. You know, I was prepared to, there is a place I keep saying I'm gonna go. Maybe I'll go today. It's been so hot. It takes the fun out of going places, honestly. Cause it's just freaking hot. Like yesterday, when the last temperature I saw was 115 degrees. Like 115 degrees. I was outside in 115 degree weather. And that felt like torture. You felt it. Like, please, you do not get used to that. That was intense heat. I'm gonna open this up. So I wanted to do some other things yesterday. And I just stayed in the house. I ended up going out later at night instead. But check her out. Can you see? Ignore my nails, I'm gonna do them. Anyway, can you see they have these moon carvings on them? Oh, this is nice. So, celestial or moon phase selenite wand. Selenite resonates with the moon's energy, and this selenite wand has the moon phases etched onto it. Hold this wand while you meditate or while performing night magic. So this is cool. Again, it's the Ink Goddess Creation Box. I love this company. Next is the Witching Hour Eclectic Witch Card Deck Expansion. So you get these cards, and you add to them. I'm looking across the room because I've been collecting them. So this week or month, I got the Butterfly Pea Flower card. So it gives me information about that. And then Moon Water, some information about that. So I'm building a deck with these cards. So I love that. And once again, I got a card in here. What is this card? Banishing and Letting Go. Wait, what is this? Thank you for your Ink Goddess Creation Box purchase this month. Here's your early access to next month theme. Oh, next month theme is fuck. It says fuck it. Banishing and Letting Go, August 2024. So this is next theme. So if you were curious, there you go. Oh, we got to do these nails. I washed my hair, so whatever was left that it all chipped off, and that's the next thing on my list today. My hair is so wet, jeez. Well, I'm gonna go outside, and trust me, it's gonna dry immediately. I won't have much problems after that. But this is the box. This is everything, and I have another pouch because I like to have those anyway. And yeah, so that would be my Ink Goddess Creations box for the month of July. And I am loving everything. I got some cute stickers while I was out at Five Below, and I'm just going to show you some of them. It's the Wednesday Addams. Do I have it anybody or nearby, or did I put it up somewhere? I think I did. Anyway, it's from Five Below. So I love these stickers. I got something I'm gonna put all these on because they're really cute. Aren't these adorable? Like, if you remember the series, this is my writing time. Come on, this is perfect. Like, I loved these stickers, so I'm gonna decorate something here with some of these stickers for fun. I just have those. So it's a bunch of them, but I just grabbed the ones that kind of stuck out to me. The Nightshade Society. I think I want to watch that series again. Hopefully it comes back. I don't. Did they cancel it? The Wednesday Addams series on Netflix. Hopefully it comes back, and I hope it comes back soon around Halloween. That'd be so fun. But that was pretty much it. So just to sort of recap, I got my Grimoire Society magazine. This is it's not like it's $5. It comes to you every month. And it's just it's just some witchy happy mail to get. If you know, it's a fun story. They give you your horoscope. It's a whole thing. I like it. And because I've been sort of just taking a departure from what I normally do, and I thought it would be fun, like watching this sci-fi thriller drama called Dark Matter. Actually was recommended to me by someone on TikTok. And they had a very similar take as I did. So I watched it and it just expanded my mind. And then on that same token, I really like murder mysteries. And I have not read a good cozy murder mystery in a while. So I was doing a little digging on Amazon and I found this one, this mystery. It's elementary. So I'm very excited about reading this. This feels like this is just going to be a fun read. And I've been rereading, because I talked about wanting to reread a book that I've read before and finding out my perspective. So The House Witch, which has been out for a couple of years now, a few years, but I'm rereading it from a totally different perspective as someone who is practicing cottage witchery, and kind of getting my takes. I'll talk more about that as well. But that's just been a fun idea to kind of just go back and with this, kind of on the note of what I've been talking about, taking this version of myself and seeing what she thinks about something that she's already read. And that'll be fun. Now, fiction books, I can do that, but there's nothing fiction that I think I want to reread right now. And then, of course, there's the Ink Goddess Creation box, which I think one of my favorite things out of this entire thing is this bottle for moon water. It's a pretty bottle. I love this. And the Witching Hour Balm, I plan on actually using this. It smells really good. And it looks like the flying ointment that I made, which again is for like astral projection and things like that. So doing so, I will have my grimoire where I created like these portal doors in there. So I will be using that. If I so choose to use this balm and maybe drink some of the tea, the Witching Hour tea as well, and do a little traveling, spirit travel, and have my journal nearby and record some items, or experiences or lack thereof, record that as well. So this is a fun little thing. I'm glad they sent this to me, and the bracelet is so gorgeous. I love this bracelet, and it sort of matches a necklace that they sent as well. So I'm very excited about everything. This makes me happy. So I hope everybody enjoys their weekend. I have been taking a very relaxed approach to posting and putting things out here because that's the vibe I'm on. It's the summertime. I'm just letting things kind of happen. I actually had a video planned for this week. It was ready to go, scheduled, already recorded and everything. And I pulled it because I like sharing my thoughts, but I really don't want to sound like I'm dumping on anybody else's. So I pulled it and I'm going to rework it. And I'll just spoil it. The topic was about the concept of rich versus poor witch. And what are your thoughts about that? Specifically on these apps, whether it's here on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or Twitter, and sort of talking about how I challenge myself, but also my personal thoughts on when I see people who might fit into these. And I give a crazy amount of disclaimers when I say what I mean when I'm saying rich versus poor. And I just wanted to get the most inflammatory words to describe this, and talked about it being on a scale and where I'm at, which I don't classify myself as a poor witch, but I also don't classify myself as a rich witch. And I went to this whole explanation on why that is, and how I see the allure of the concept of a poor, basically a witch who doesn't have a lot of material wealth, and the allure of that, how people connect with that on social media. And then the same concept with the rich witch, like the idea that the person who has less than, people tend to connect more because they believe they're more spiritual, but that falls into kind of the Judeo-Christian beliefs. And I kind of went to a whole thing about how you'll see they practice a certain type of energy work or magic, and that's where I felt like that might really upset some people. And my intention is not to rage bait here, so that's why I pulled it, because I kind of went to this whole thing about that, and I realized I don't want this to sound very negative. And when you talk about money, you have to be careful. Anyway, people get like up in arms, but I really thought that might have sounded I didn't like the way it came across, so I pulled the whole video, and I'm just going to rework it to make sure that my point is understood as best as I mean it, and it won't be taken in a negative way. So that's why the video, the week went on, I couldn't redo it, so I have been working on it, and you'll just see that next week. So it's a really fascinating topic when I think about it, on why we connect with certain personalities online the way that we do, and I'm talking myself included. I know I do have some sort of aversion, low key, to people who display their wealth in a way where I know you're basically kind of showing off. I'm both happy for you, but that something about that makes me uncomfortable. So I kind of plan on questioning, kind of talking that out on why is that, and maybe asking you why, if you are like me, why do you think that is? Um, I also don't love the idea of someone who uh, they live a very simple life, but not be out of choice, and they're making the best out of it. Um, Kind of exploring that too. But anyway, you'll see next week. You'll see that next week, and I'll get into it. But outside of that, yeah, don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the join button if you want to join Leap Taken membership here. It's essentially a membership, a Patreon here, supports the channel, and I greatly appreciate the current members that do subscribe, and you get perks like member-only videos, um, and 40% discounts on any and everything over at leaptaken.com. So you can check that out. Um, Go to my website, leaptaken.com, check that out as well. See if there's any services that you're interested. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go on with my weekend. I'm going to step outside long enough for this hair to dry. It's another day. I think it's going to be like 1:13 today. So my hair should be sufficiently dried within probably about in 30 minutes to an hour. It is so wet underneath. Like as I put it, I can feel it on my skin. It's so wet. Anyway, so I'm going to go deal with that. Drink my water, stay hydrated, and live a magical life over here. All right, bye. Thank you all. Bye.